Hello everybody, my name is Dazed, and welcome to my first champion guide video, and it is going to be about Scyl of the Drakes. Scyl of the Drakes is a defense legendary barbarian that everybody will receive as part of their daily login rewards. After 180 days, everybody will get her, and she will be a fairly useful legendary for everybody's account. Let's take a look at Scyl of the Drake's skills. Her A1 is attack one enemy, has a 20% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Also has a 30% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%, and you can increase this debuff chance by another 20%. This is great for an A1 because you'll be able to control the main target for all of your waves, whether you're going and doing PvP and you know that there's a damage dealer that you want to focus down. You can put the A1 on them and hopefully prevent them from doing a lot of damage to your team. Or if you're doing PvE content, you can slow down dungeon bosses or potentially strong enemies and make sure that you can get them out of the way without having them attack you. Her A2 is Wing Beat Flurry, attacks all enemies 2 times, each hit has a 20% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. You can increase this debuff chance by another 15% and also reduce the cooldown to a 3-turn cooldown. This is just useful for going through waves. You can stun them down, make sure that they don't attack your team. You can also use it in PvP, and hopefully you'll be able to stun down the enemy champions and you'll be able to clear that a little bit easier as well. Her A3 is Phoenix Right, revive an ally with 50% HP and place a 50% ally protection buff on them for 2 turns. You can reduce the cooldown by 2 turns and give it a 4-turn cooldown. This is a pretty good revive. It's a lot of health to give back, and also the ally protection will make it so that they can stay alive so they don't get nuked down shortly after you bring them back. And I'd say it's a pretty good revive. It would be nice if it gave turn meter as well, but you know, for a free legendary, I'd say that's not too bad of a revive. And then her passive is heal all allies by 10% of their max HP at the start of each turn. Also places a 30% increased speed buff on a random ally for 2 turns. So this is kind of like continuous heal. You know, there's the small continuous heal for 7.5 and a large one for 15. So it's somewhere right in the middle. But if you build a lot of speed on her, she'll be able to get this off even more consistently than, you know, your continuous heal buffs because you're limited by the speed or all of your other champions. If you build a lot of speed on her and she's getting a lot of turns in and being able to control turn meter, being able to stun down waves, being able to revive everybody, she can add a ton of sustainability with her passive as well. And putting that increased speed buff, whether it lands on her or somebody else, is just good utility. So what should you focus on if you're gearing Scyl of the Drakes? If I would say there would be anything that would be the most important on her, would be high speed. Being able to make sure that her boundless life is going off and being able to keep that revive off cooldown would be the most important towards keeping your team sustainability high. I also think that good HP and defense is very important. Defense more so than HP, so that she can tank the damage that she receives when she revives somebody. I also think that high accuracy is fairly important on her to make sure that her A1 and A2 always go through and there isn't a resist proc that happens. I decided to go with a speed set and defense and an immortal set to increase her sustainability and increase her speed. I'll probably end up switching out this defense set maybe for another speed set to make sure that I'm having more turns on her end and be able to keep that continuous heal in a sense going more often and increase the sustainability for everybody. So what about her masteries? I decided to go with offense and support and work towards getting to War Master so that she was actually doing damage to dungeon bosses as well, and then worry about getting some turn meter increase and strong accuracy going through the support by, you know, using rapid response, increasing her buff duration because she's naturally casting a buff every single time it's her turn, and also increase her ally protection potentially by an additional turn. Having this apply to her A1 can be useful as well. I could say that there's another good point in making sure that Spirit Haste is a choice on her to keep your team alive. And if you were going to go with purely support, I would say stick with support and defense And then we'll maybe work towards timely intervention as your final choice, because she'll be able to have her turn, get a 10% heal on everybody on your team, and every single time people get knocked down just a little bit less, she can heal up, revive the person that gets knocked down, get speed for it to make sure that they stay alive, and just keep pushing you through content. So now I have a couple videos of her running through content. I sped up the clan boss just because it takes forever going through there with the team that I currently have. I also put her in on ice golems, dragons, and minotaurs just to see how well those teams would roll through it. Now, she is very useful for keeping your team alive in a lot of content. She's very good in spiders, she's very good on arena teams, she's very good, and I'd say at least above average in most categories, but isn't insane in a lot of categories. You know, if I'd say there are areas that she's the most useful, I'll cover it later on in the video exactly how I would rank her. But she is probably the most useful in spiders, in ice golems, and in minotaur. And why is that? So, in spiders, if you're using Ultimate Gaelic and you're able to get an HP burn on everybody, you know, you can stun all of the spiders, they're not attacking your tank on your team, and you're able to burn them down fairly quickly. So she can not only, you know, do a lot of crowd control, but also add sustainability with her passive and be able to make sure that, you know, you're controlling the spider with her A1. Dragons, you know, she's good at sustainability, but, you know, her A1 doesn't do anything to Hellraiser. So, you know, she's just there mostly to tank and to help sustain your team through it and have a added utility revive. Ice golems, she can stun the minions that he spawns, you know, control him, get a speed debuff, turn meter control. Very good in ice golems. Minotaur, kind of the same thing, can stun and control the Minotaur so that he's no longer a problem. And Clan Boss, not very useful, you know. She does damage, especially with War Master. She's able to hit fairly hard, but I think the numbers at the end of the video will be able to tell you exactly, you know, her usefulness overall. And I hope you can see those numbers in there, but, you know, she does good damage. She does really good healing, and she can tank a lot of damage for everybody and help you get through content. But I wouldn't say that, you know, especially if you're somebody who's put money into the game, you know, that she's going to be somebody that you're guaranteed to slot in. She just might be useful enough to give her a shot, you know. You might be able to try her out and get a little bit of use out of her, and you might enjoy, you know, kind of creating a team around her where she's the main reason why your team tanks through all of the waves. So just pause the video at the end if you wanted to see exactly what the damage numbers were for the ice golem as well. So how would I rate Scyl of the Drakes? For campaign, I'd give her a 5 out of 5. She can keep your team going, stun waves, and also be able to control the boss a little bit when you finally get to her. Arena offense, I'd give her a 4 out of 5. You know, she can stun the team, slow down somebody that's like a key player, and also heal and revive your team. So I'd say she's very good for arena offense. Clan boss, I'd say she's good. She can keep your team alive, but she can screw up rotation because of her random speed. So might not be that useful when you're getting towards later clan boss content. Arena defense, I'd give her a 5 out of 5, especially if you're building a tanky team. She can stun, kind of clutch, you know, being able to slow down somebody. You know, it's on auto, you can't control where they're going, but overall, you know, she would be able to keep a sustainable defense team going. On spiders, I would say that she's a 5 out of 5, especially if you're building a team that's more offensive. I have a defensive kind of style of spiders den, so she's not very useful to me. However, if you're using Ultimate Gaelic, you get HP burns on everybody, and you can follow up with a stun. You're not having damage come in from all of the small spiders. The HP burns go off. You're using her A1 to control the main spider. You know, it's very good for spider sten, so I'd say excellent there. If you go to Faction Wars, you know, you're working with barbarians. It's, you know, keep them all alive and be able to revive them, especially when you got someone like Altan also on the side. You know, you're able to keep your whole team pretty much alive. Dragon's Lair 4 out of 5 can help with waves, but once you get to the dragon, she doesn't do anything other than heal your team, so not as useful. But the speed buff and the continuous heal can keep your team alive through all of the damage that Hellraiser will be doing. Fire Knight's Castle, I give him a 3, only because the A2 can hit twice, but the only other thing that she's providing is healing. Hitting once per turn, not very great. But if you can get through the shield, having the slow, the turn meter control can be good against the Fire Knight. You just have to break through the shield for her to be actually doing something useful towards the battle. Ice Golem Peak, 5 out of 5. She can stun the little minions that the Ice Golem spawns. Good for wave control. Also has affinity bonus on him. So very good versus Ice Golem. Can slow him down, control him a little bit. I would say she's very good for Ice Golem's Peak. Minotaur's Labyrinth, keeping everybody alive, working through. Minotaur is actually, once you get to Minotaur 15, you'll be able to build a team of just 4 people around her fairly easily and be able to clear Minotaurs, not a problem. Magic Keep, I'd say she's very good. She can help your team sustain itself, and you'll also be able to put a slow on her and control turn meter, so very good there. Spirit Keep, kind of the same thing. Can control her, make sure that you keep her controlled. So very good in Spirits Keep, very good in Void Keep, same thing. Force Keep, countered by affinity, but can definitely help your team. If you can get the turn meters off and the speed down and be able to keep on plinking away at him, can be very good on that. Even though you're affinity countered, it'll keep the rest of your team sustained because he doesn't do that much damage. But having that 10% heal will help you just slowly plink your way through him. So I think she's very good, if not good, for Force Keep. I'd say maybe good would more so be it for Force Keep. So how do I feel about Scyl of the Drakes? I think she's a pretty good hero. I give her a 4 out of 5. She's not going to help you clear content faster, but she's going to help you do it a lot more consistently. And that's more important than anything. Being able to get the gear that's going to help all of your heroes and all of the content across the game is more important than being able to do it very quickly. When that 180 days comes up and you pull your Scyl of the Drakes, I think she's going to be a very good person to add to your lineup. And anybody else that's lucky enough to pull her before those 180 days, I think you'll be able to find some way to slot her into at least 1 or 2 of your teams. Anyway, this has been my first champion review video, as well as my first video for my channel. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll try to put out more content out there. And leave a comment at the bottom. I'll be sure to check it out and try to reply. If you'd like to see more content, leave suggestions and I will try to make some more content out there. If you'd like to see another review of any of my other heroes or any other suggestions regarding Raid Shadow Legends, I'll try to put some more videos out there. Anyway, this has been Dazed, and I hope you have a good one.